Hi everyone, welcome to this video again. In this video, we're gonna look into pagination concept. Okay, so how to automate pagination concept on tables. So we see paginations on tables. If you observe here, we have a table here which is having a pagination, and it is having 47 entries in total, and it is having 10 pages, around 10 pages. Okay, now there are few options to this pagination. First, previous, next, and last. When I click on next, it's going to take me to the next page. And when I click on the next again, and then again, it's going to take me to the next page. Now, when I click on last, it's going to take me to the last page. So once when I'm on the last page, my next and last button are disabled. Okay, now let me inspect the next button. If you see here in the class, class attribute, you could see a value something called as disabled. When you see disabled, it means that it is disabled. But if you observe, or if you hover over your mouse on first or previous, you could see they are getting highlighted. Now let me show you. Let me inspect the previous. If you see here, there is no any disabled value for class attribute. Okay, so let me refresh the page again. This is my starting point. So here my task is going to be, I have to collect all the university names and I have to store it in a list. In page number 1, we have 5 university names. So in total, we have 47. So I have to click on the pagination till the next button is disabled. Right now, I am on page number 1, and then grab all the university names, click on next, grab all the university names, and then again click on next, so on till the next button is disabled. So we have to click on the next till it is disabled. Now it is disabled. It means that we are on the final page. So that's how I have to collect all the university names. So once I have all university names, I have to choose a university name randomly from the list. Let us assume I got this university called as University of Reading, and have to grab this university name and I have to paste it here, or I should search with the random university name. When I search with the random university name, I should see that respective university record is getting populated on the table. And then there should be more than one record. So if I'm searching with something which is already present, then I should get one entry. If there are duplicate entries, I should get more than one entry. So I have to assert that I have at least a one entry inside the table. And then after asserting that, I have to grab the university URL of that university here, which is www.rdc.ac.uk. I have to grab this URL and I have to paste it onto the console. So this is my task. So yeah, let us get back to the code and let us see how we can achieve this. Okay, let me quickly create a class. I'm going to create a class here inside Let Code Test package. This is my class. I'm going to name it Pagination Test. Okay, and here we have a base test class. Inside this base test, we have setup and tear down methods, where inside the setup, I'm going to create a driver. I'm going to set up a driver, and then I'm going to create a driver object. And then finally, I'm going to maximize the window. And in tear down method, I'm going to quit the driver. So this is my base test. Now, if I get back to the pagination test here, the first and foremost thing that I have to do is to create a test. And I'm going to name it pagination test. So once I have my template, or once I have my template method, now I have to put my code inside this method. Have a driver. Okay, we have to extend. Okay, we have to inherit base test. If we are not inheriting the base test, then we cannot access the driver object. So driver dot first and foremost thing is to navigate to a page. So I can use get method, which will take me to the respective page. So this is the URL of this page. Copy this URL and paste it here. Then after navigating to this page, I have to copy all the university names. Okay, I have to copy all the university names and I have to store it in a list. And then I have to click on next until the next button is disabled. So first I have to inspect and I have to grab the locators of all these buttons. So first let us find what is the locator of this next button. If you observe, it is a link. It is having tag A, which means it is a link. And then if you see here, it is having an ID called advanced table underscore next. Let us copy this and let us check whether it is unique or not. Yes, I could find this next button as unique. Let's copy this and I'm gonna store. Okay, let me store all these variables, all these XPaths at class level. So I'm gonna store it as a by locator. By, let me name it next page button locator. XPath. And now I think it should be CSS selector and then pass the value here. So this is my next button locator. And then I have to grab all the university names. Now let us write a XPath that can grab all university names that are present on this page. So let me inspect one university name. If we observe that it is present, okay, there is a TR for each row. Under this TR, there are 4 TDs. The second TD represents the university name. So how to navigate to TD2? So first, this is a T body, right? T body, and from T body, I have to navigate to TR, and then from TR, TD2. Okay. So there are many TDs here. So let us uniquely find this table. Now, if you find this table, it is having an ID called advanced table. So let me find using the table here. Keep a table which is having ID is equal to, right, advanced table. So under this table, we have TRs, and under each TR, we have TDs, and we want second TD in specific. So this is my XPath, which gives me all the university names. So right now on this page, we have 5 university names. Now this XPath gives us the all university names. Let me copy this XPath and I'll be naming this locator as university names locator. So by dot XPath and then pass this locator strategy or locator value here. Now we are good with the button and the university names locator. I think, and what else do we need? We need a locator of this search box as well. Let me inspect this. Do we have any unique IDs? Okay, so we don't have any unique IDs. Okay, but yeah, at the division level, we have an ID. So from division level, so ID hashtag, and then we put. So this is a CSS selector, and let me store it as search box locator right or CSS selector. Now I have my search box as well. Uh, I think we are good now. Now, oh yeah, and we have to find the website as well. Website of an university. So let us find that as well. So first let me inspect a university. So this is the university which is present inside TD. So TD name, or sorry, it should be text. Text is equal to uh, University of Aberdeen. So I can uniquely find the university name from this university. Now I have to I have to traverse to website. Now it is present under the, so now university name, country, and website. All these are siblings. Either I can use following sibling, or I can traverse back to TR and then again come to TD. But here I'm going to use sibling. So I should use following sibling, and then my following sibling is TD. So I have two following siblings. One is country and other is website, but I want in specific the second one. Now let us copy this. Where here I can change the university name. If I replace this university name, then I'm gonna get the respective website. Let me copy this XPath and let us write a locator for this. Let me name it website. Dynamic website locator. Now this is gonna be XPath. There's the value here. Now here instead of the university name, I'm gonna mention $, where we're gonna replace the $, with the university name later in our code. Now, yeah, in total I have all four locators here. So we're gonna use these four locators to write our code. Okay, now if you observe here, first we should grab all these universities which are present on page number 1, and I have to store all these university names inside a list. So I should create an empty list first. List of strings. Obviously, the name of universities are going to be strings. List of strings, universities, and new array list. So this is my empty list. Now I have to write a loop. Okay, I have to write a loop till the next button is disabled, right? Till the next button is disabled. I have to write a loop. So I have to write a while loop. So inside this while loop, I'm going to write a condition saying that is it disabled or not. If it is disabled, then we have to stop the code. If it is not disabled, then we have to run the loop. And here, next button locator. Sorry, here I have to ask driver. Let me find the button here. Let us find the web element. Web element. It should be the next page button element. We're gonna get this from driver.find element. So here it should be next page button locator. So we have this next page button element. Now upon this element, I should ask is it disabled or not. So I should ask is enabled. If it is enabled, run the loop. Okay. If it is enabled, run the loop. Run the loop and get all these university names. So how to get all university names? I should use driver.find elements. And here we have university names locator. university names located. So this is gonna give me list of web elements. Now upon this list of web elements, so let me store it in a list of web elements and let me name it name locators or elements, name elements. Now I have to extract university name out of these elements and I have to add it to the array list. So how to extract? So I have to write a loop over these elements. Here name elements. I'm gonna loop over these name elements. Each time I'm gonna get a web element. So I name it as element here. So upon this element, I'm going to get the text and let us trim it. And we should add this text into these universities. So I should write universities dot add. So this is how I can add all the names into the list. And then finally, I have to click once I grab all the university names in that page, I have to click on next button. After click on the next button, we have next page element dot, just have to click it. Have to click it, and again the while loop is going to check whether it is enabled or not. If it is enabled, it's going to go inside and get the university names, and finally it's going to click. That's how this is going to work. Here, okay, if you observe here, it is not going to take, this logic is not going to take names from the last page, because so once when I am on page number 9 and when I click, it's going to go to page number 10. Okay, it's going to go to page number 10 and then my next button is going to be disabled. So here it's going to be false and it will not go inside the loop. So finally I cannot get the last page values. So to get the last page values, so let us write the code here again. So let us copy this code and let us paste it here. So here again, I'm going to find the elements and then add them to the list. So finally, I'll be getting all the university names. So let us first print universities onto the console. Okay, universities onto the console. And here, okay, so let us print it like I'm gonna universities dot for each. I'm gonna write a loop on this for each. Once I get the university, the whole point is to print it onto the console. As out, I would like to print the university. Okay, I like to print the university. Of course, I can replace with, okay, this is how I'm gonna write it for each loop, or I can write normal for loop as well. Just I'm gonna loop over universities. Each time I'm gonna get test loop. I'll name it university. Now this is my for loop, and here I'm gonna print onto the console university name onto the console. So before printing university name, let us print the name or the number of the university as well. Just I'm going to take it as I. So here you can take int I is equal to 1. So here let us print I and then let us increment I. Okay. Let's run this program and let us check whether our pagination is working fine or not. Now it will invoke the browser. Okay. 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 You see, we got an issue here. The issue here is stale element exception. Element is not attached to the page document. So here we got the issue in page number 23. Okay. Here, if you observe, once I click on the button, once I click on the button, the DOM is getting refreshed. DOM is once I click on the next button, DOM is getting refreshed, and once the DOM is getting refreshed, then if we use the old element, the element that we found already, it is gonna be stale. It is gonna be stale. So what I'm gonna do here is, instead of saving or instead of finding the element and store it in the variable, directly I'm gonna use this strategy. Directly I'm gonna use this strategy here. Instead of the variable, I'm gonna directly use this strategy. And now I need this line. Okay, now if I run this code, it should work fine now. Okay, so okay, for some reason the website is not getting closed. Let us get back to the code. Okay, it is still running. Why is it still running? Mhm. So this is some kind of infinite loop. I think this is some kind of an infinite loop. Okay, the while loop is still running. Okay, for timing, let us stop the program. The while loop is still running. I am not sure why is enabled. It should be false, right? Is enabled should be false, and the loop should break here. But let us get the is enabled value at the end. Okay, okay. Let me check whether is enabled is working fine or not. Okay, now first let me comment all the code here. It is present here. Comment all the code. Once we navigate to this page, so these are page. Let us directly click on the last button, and then let us check the whether is enabled is working fine or not on the next button. So here, let me. Okay, so this is my page. Here, let us click on the last button. Or directly we can check for the previous here. This button whether it is you know, it is enabled or disabled. If you observe here, this is the button for the previous. For the previous, this is the locator for the previous button. And how to write an XPath for this? So we have an ID. Copy this. Let us check. Now let me directly check here whether is enabled is working fine or not on these element. Driver dot find element. Inside find element, y dot css selector. I should pass the css selector, and then finally is enabled. It is gonna give me the boolean value. So let us print it onto the screen. Is enabled. So we're expecting here false, right? We are expecting false here. Okay, let us check it. Okay. So if you observe that is enabled is not working in this case. In this case, is enabled is not working. Here, even though I cannot click on the previous button, it is still showing as it is enabled. Okay, because it is a link, so somehow is disabled or is enabled, these options are not working on links. Now we have to find some other alternative. Now the alternative is we should get the attribute of class. We should get the attribute value of this class. When I say get attribute, and when I pass class attribute, it should give me the value of this class attribute. If I have disabled in this class attribute, it means that we can consider the element is disabled. Okay. Instead of using is enabled, I'm gonna get the attribute of this class and I'm gonna check whether the value is having disabled or not. So yes, so this debugging code. Let me remove this and let me uncomment my code. So here, instead of using is enabled, I'm gonna say get attribute and I'm gonna get class attribute, which is gonna give me the value dot if it contains disabled disable. If it contains disabled, yeah. So finally, I should say it is if it is not having the disabled, then run the loop. If it is having disabled, then stop the loop. Okay. So here I am adding not symbol. I think now code should work as expected. It should not go into infinite loop. Okay. And right. Excellent. Yeah. It is working like charm. And yes, yes, in total we have 47 universities. Now it is able to find all universities. If you observe, we have all universities from 1 to 47. Now I could automate pagination and I could grab all the university names. And my next step is to, and I need not have to have this for loop, guys. This for loop is just to print. Now I can remove this code. Right. Now I have to select a university name randomly from the list. So how to find a number from a list randomly? I can use a random. There's a random class. Let's create an object for for the random class, and then upon this object there is something called as next int. Next int is gonna take the value, or if you specify 10 here, it's gonna give us a random value from 0 to 10. 0 to 9, sorry, 0 to 9. So but we need a random value from a list, so I have to pass the size of this list. So universities dot size. Okay. Universities dot size, which is gonna give me a random value 0 to size minus 1, number from 0 to size minus 1. So once we get the integer, let us add 1 to it. So I'll be getting from 1. So once I get a random value from 1, when I'm gonna add 1, so I have to separate a 1 here, right? So let me name it int and index. For time being, I'll be naming it index. And finally, once I get the random value, I should add 1 to it. Okay. So this is how I'm gonna get the index or a random index. So I should take a university name randomly from the list. So I could say universities dot get and I can pass the index. Now it is gonna give me some random university name. So I would say random university as a variable name. Now I have my variable. I should pass this random university into the search field. So I should ask a driver to find the element. And here I should use search box locator and then send keys. And here I have to pass the random university. Now, once I pass the random university, there should be at least one field. There should be at least one field Okay, so for time being, we copy this university name, and if I once I paste it here in the search box, there should be at least one field with exact university name, or there can be more than one field as well. So at least we're expecting, so sorry, not one field, one row. There should be at least one row. Now, how to find? Now, if you observe here, it is just a TD. Now we can do something like this. I can say TD with the university name that we want. So text is equal to here. Yes, this is my university name, right? This is my university name. So I should navigate to TR. I can say parent TR. Okay, now it's gonna give me how many TRs we have inside this. I mean, like how many TRs we have in this table with the name, the university name. So in this case, I have one. So basically, this expert should give me at least one or more than one. Here, of course, I'm going to replace this university name with random university. So let us copy this expert, and I can ask driver dot find elements. Here I should say y dot xpath. I'll pass the locator, and here in place of university name, I should pass the random university. Okay, so here is my university name, so I should make it as a two strings. Random university, and I have to get the size of it. The size should be greater than 0, and then size should be greater than 0, and I have to assert it. Assert dot assert true. I could say true. Okay. And once I assert the size, or once I assert the number of entries of this university inside my table, the last and foremost step is to get the URL, website URL of this university, and I have to print it onto the console, and print it on the console as out. I would say here, okay, directly I would say URL, and here I have to grab the URL. I could say driver dot find element. Here dynamic website locator, and inside dynamic website locator we have to replace it. Okay, here the dynamic website locator is by locator, so we took it as a by locator, but here we have to replace it, right? Now we cannot apply replace function on by locator. We can apply replace function only on strings. I cannot take this as a by locator, so let me take it as a string. Then it should be dynamic website xpath, and here as well, let me remove this code. So here I have dynamic, and then I should say now by dot xpath. So inside xpath, I'm going to send dynamic website xpath dot. I have to apply a replace, and I'm going to replace $, with random university. Random university. Now this is going to give me, or the dynamic website xpath that is going to give me, that is going to identify the URL actually. So, and then after finding the element, I should say dot get text, and then I'm going to trim it at the end. Right. So this is how I'm going to grab the university URL. Let me run this code. It's going to click on the next. Yes. So, okay. So it failed for some reason. Okay. So here, Pagenation 41. So assert got failed. Okay, here assert got failed. So let us get back to the code. If I copy this search, so okay, if I paste this search, send the keys, I did, and then here I'm asserting in the line number 41. But for some reason, here I'm getting false here, but for some reason I'm getting false. Okay, after sending the keys, let us wait for some time. Uh, okay, so after sending the keys, let us wait for some time. I want to use uninterruptables dot sleep uninterruptably for 1 second. Okay, sleep uninterruptably where I should pass duration of seconds 1 second. Okay, because when I enter some text here, the table is getting refreshed. Okay. The table is getting loaded or else it is getting filtered. So to get it filtered, let us wait for 1 second and let us run the code again. Okay, still failed. Okay, what is the reason? The line number 45 now it failed on line number 45, and the same thing again. Okay, I think here we should pass double forward slash td. That is my mistake here in the XPath. Okay, let us run the code again. Right, okay, yeah, right. So basically the XPath, issues with the XPath, we did not give the double forward slash. Yes, and we got the URL, right? We got the URL. So this is how we gonna automate pagination. And here the takeaway from this exercise is how to use the dynamic locator and how to automate the paginations. So here we're gonna use the while loop, and we should stop or we should run still it reaches the last page. That is the idea here. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, guys. Let us get back with some interesting concept in the next video.